Inside the AHSAA, your weekly look inside Alabama high school athletics. Sponsored by Coke, Alpha, Encore Rehabilitation, Edmondson Screen Printing, Wilson Sporting Goods, Russell Athletic, and AL.com.
Welcome to the Alabama High School Athletic Association's weekly update, heard exclusively on the AHSA radio network. I'm Luke Robinson, and I'm going to be bringing you these updates from this point forward, and I certainly do appreciate your being with me. In this first segment, we're going to discuss the AHSAA will pay out $1.2 million to its member schools this year thanks to a landmark revenue sharing plan that was proposed by AHSAA Executive Director Steve Savarese and approved by the Central Board last year. The plan calls for all schools to receive a portion of any revenue remaining after the organization has raised funding for 1 year's working capital, as well as 1 year in reserve. The plan, said Savarese, was made possible by paying off the new AHSAA building early in 3 years, thanks in major part to an additional dollar placed on playoff tickets before the building was constructed. The mortgage note was burned last year, allowing the dollar to now go completely back to the member schools. Schools that have been AHSAA members for the last 5 years will share in the first payoff, which is actually half the reserve fund. The other half will be paid out next year. Class 6A schools will receive approximately $3,600 each, with the percentage reduced in other classes by less than 2% per class. Class 1A schools will receive almost $2,500. This is a monumental day, said Savarese at the July Central Board meeting. This was made possible by the responsible financial practices that have been in place at the AHSAA for a long time. First under Mr. Bubba Scott, then under the direction of Mr. Dan Washburn. Also, it is a tribute to the sound judgment of the current and past Central Boards, as well as the Finance Committee. Checks should start going out to the schools once all beginning of the school year records keeping has been resolved. When we come back, we'll talk about who's being touted to win the state football championships in 2010.
Theoretically, Ted should be able to lift up to 450 pounds. This truck can haul up to 1,400 pounds of cargo. And this economy car can comfortably transport up to 5 adults.
Look, when an auto insurance company puts an up to before those impressive claims of savings, you know exactly what they're up to. Call your local Alpha insurance agent and let us show you what your savings can really be. Let's talk about tomorrow.
Another billionaire is broke. C. Montgomery Burns has lost his entire fortune, estimated at $3 billion.
Coke.
When you're talking about state championships in the state of Alabama, whether it's past, present, or future, you gotta start with Hoover. And this year is no exception. Hoover is predicted to win the state championship again by the writers in the state of Alabama. Hoover was 14-1 last year and received 35 of the 36 first place votes. Prattville, winners of 3 of the last 4 6A titles, got the other vote. In 5A, last year's runner-up Russellville at 12-3 and last year's champion Demopolis at 12-3 each garnered 15 first-place votes, but the Golden Tigers eked out the number 1 spot by 17 points, 350 to 333. McAdory also received 4 first-place votes. Spanish Fort and Viger 1 vote each. Other preseason leaders include UMS Wright in Class 4A, Leeds in Class 3A, who just had star defensive back Jonathan Rose commit to Auburn University the other day, defending champ Reeltown at 14-1 last year in Class 2A, and Sweetwater 11-2 last year in Class 1A. Voters are prep sports writers who are members of the ASWA. Football practice began Monday for the upcoming season, which kicks off the regular season on the weekend of August 26th, 27th, and 28th. The AHSA will once again host the AL.com Champions Challenge, a preseason triple-header at Montgomery's Crampton Bowl, and Sports Blitz will bring you all of the action. Greenville and Opelika, coached by brothers Brian and Ben Blackman, will kick off the AL.com Champions Challenge on Friday night, August 20th at 7 p.m. On Saturday, August 21st, Jackson from Clark County and Trinity of Montgomery will play at 5, followed by Auburn and Spain Park at 7:30. Saturday's games will be live streamed by WIAT CBS 42 in Birmingham at www.cbs42.com, as well as being shown live on its digital 42.2 channel. The Friday game is expected to be televised by WSFA NBC 12 in Montgomery. And of course, the AHSA Radio Network will be there live to broadcast all 3 games on its statewide radio network. We certainly do look forward to your listening to the games, and we can't wait to get out there and see the pads popping again.